When you are a fan of a certain IP, there's this natural inclination to want to engage with everything surrounding that IP. That is definitely the case with me and Monster Hunter. However, every now and then, a product comes out that is clearly not targeted at you, and it can generate a couple of negative feelings surrounding said IP. Today is most definitely one of those days, as I woke up to see this news that you see right here. There's a tweet from the official Monster Hunter account, and it says, "Hunt monsters in the real world in Monster Hunter now. A new mobile Monster Hunter game from Niantic and Capcom launching September 2023. Try the closed beta test starting on April 25th and follow at mage_now_en for the latest info. Apply here, monsterhunternow.com. Now, for those of you that are not aware, Niantic is the company behind the famous Pokémon Go mobile game. Now, I don't know how many of you guys played Pokémon Go out there. I mean, I would imagine that most of my audience has at least heard of Pokémon Go, and you have some notion of what Pokémon Go is about. I myself played Pokémon Go for a little while when it came out. It was actually something that we were also covering on TGN at the time. And, we did a couple of videos on Pokémon Go. And initially, it was a concept that I thought was really, really cool. Because you go outside, you play a video game, it's pretty neat, it's kind of nice. But then eventually I noticed that the way in which Niantic was developing Pokémon Go was something that was very antithetical to the way that I actually wanted to experience the game. You see, whereas most people are happy to run around a city and just spin the Pokéstops and get all of that stuff and engage in the terrible combat system that was for the raids and all of that stuff. Personal opinion, I didn't like the combat system in Pokemon Go at all. I personally think it was pretty trash. There's probably some people out there that enjoy it. Hey, that good on you. I'm glad you like it. All of that good stuff. To me, if you're gonna have a Pokemon combat system, I kind of feel like the actual traditional combat system of Pokemon is way cooler than the system that they used to take over gyms and all of that stuff. At least back when I was playing, there's probably been a zillion changes since I've played because I stopped playing fairly early on. But that wasn't even my biggest complaint. My biggest problem with the concept of what Niantic is doing is that it's not really go out on an adventure and collect Pokemon, or in this case, go out on an adventure and hunt monsters. It's more like go to a populated area or a popular area in the city, and then you can play the game. See, because my concept when I started playing Pokemon Go is listen, Portugal, for all the complaints that I have about my country, when it comes to outdoors, we have some of the most beautiful places in the world. It's a gorgeous country. I'm no joke. No joke, no cap. Portugal is friggin' gorgeous, okay? There are plenty of outdoors areas, even near me, that I like to go to. So I remember very distinctly, I think this might even be a video somewhere on some channel that I might have made back in the day during Pokemon Go, where I specifically said, oh man, I'm gonna on this hill. I'm gonna go on a hike on this hill. It's gonna be really cool, and I'm gonna catch some Pokemon. It's gonna be a good time. You guys wanna know what happened? Nothing. You wanna know why? Because Niantic doesn't give a damn about beautiful sightseeing or you actually going outdoors or anything like that. No, they just, they look at a map, they see where's the biggest concentration of people. They have data to see where people congregate. They have data to see popular landmarks or shopping malls or gas stations or all of that stuff. And that's kind of where they place down the little geo things that you can interact with in their multiple games. Because before Pokemon Go, they had some other game, which basically Pokemon Go drew a lot of data from that game. And most likely Monster Hunter Now is going to draw a lot of data from Pokemon Go. So where you would previously have Pokestops, you're going to have whatever elements Monster Hunter is going to have. And that to me is not interesting. The interesting thing to me would be go out, into the wilderness and fight a monster in the wilderness, actually track it down. Like, there are actually interesting mechanics that I can see being really, really cool in a game like this. But I don't believe that Niantic is going to be the company to implement them. Not only that, but naturally, with this being a free-to-play game, most likely it is going to be pay-to-win to the zillionth degree, because Pokemon Go was essentially pay-to-win to the zillionth degree if you really want to be playing the game. You want to be running around with lures and all of these other crazy bonus things that I don't even remember anymore because I don't play the game anymore, but I do remember I probably spent like $100 or something like that on Pokemon Go simply because I wanted to, play Pokemon Go actually outdoors instead of in the middle of a city where it's boring and polluted and there's cars going all over the place and there's nothing actual of interest to see when I have all of these beautiful outdoor areas that have no interactable elements of any sort. There weren't even any goddamn Pokemon out there, which are supposed to be like random or whatever. So basically, I saw this announcement earlier today, and here's my reaction.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
And that's pretty much how I feel. I don't... And here's the interesting thing, right? I feel like ever since Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, Capcom's been trying to jump into the mobile market with all these different projects. Like we had Monster Hunter Riders, whatever the hell it was called. I believe that game is over now. I believe like it's no longer functioning because didn't see enough appeal. I believe that after Pokemon Go, I was actually talking to Gaijin about this. By the way, there's a Third Fleet podcast on the way. I was talking with Gaijin and he was telling me that like, oh yeah, after Pokemon Go, they worked on like a similar game, but was for Harry Potter. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if Harry Potter, which is a much more mainstream IP, didn't work out, how is Monster Hunter going to work out in what is fundamentally, a similar system to that? And then on top of it, is like, you guys might remember a while ago I made a video about a potential mobile game coming out which was tied to another company. And, it's not this one, because this one is Niantic, the guys behind Pokemon Go. It's called Monster Hunter. Now, there's another one. This one is for Timmy Studio Group and Capcom. They're working on another Monster Hunter title. So there's yet another mobile Monster Hunter game also in development. These guys, by the way, I've talked about it back in my other video. They worked on Call of Duty Mobile, Pokemon Unite, Arena of Valor, which is kind of like League of Legends but mobile, and a bunch of other mobile titles. So it's like Monster Hunter Riders, Monster Hunter Now, Monster Hunter, whatever is coming out of Timmy, and it's like, really? Can we have some resources to the actual mainline Monster Hunter? Like, I'm hoping that they're not taking resources away. Who knows what is happening? At the end of the day, I'm a huge fan of the Monster Hunter team. I think they do fantastic titles. I don't think that this time, and it specifically says Niantic and Capcom, so probably Niantic are the ones developing this. So I don't think that they're taking resources away from the main Monster Hunter team, but it's just like, my main question here is, and this is something that you'll hear both me and Gaijin ask as well on the next Third Fleet podcast, is this something that you, people who play Monster Hunter, is this something that you want? Because it's not something that I want. I don't want it. But, at the end of the day, I'm kind of... Again, I'm coming up on that age that I'm just like, oh, boomer Rurikhan, done like mobile games, derp, derp, derp. And it's like, yeah, you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm the one in the wrong. Maybe there's actually a ton of people, millions of people, that can't wait to jump into Monster Hunter now and, go play Monster Hunter with touch controls. It could be that. I don't want to be closed-minded to the point to say that, oh, I know best. But anyway, let's have a quick look at it. This is not the first time that I'm watching the video, because I essentially watched the video when I was doing the podcast with Gaijin because he wanted to see my reaction to it. But here you go. Now, there's some actual gameplay screenshots as well that Gaijin showed me in Mitsu. I believe that a little bit lower here, they show some gameplay stuff. Wait, is this a different video, or is this the same one? No, this is the same stuff, it's just... But there's some actual screenshots here. As you can see, you have like the overlay of oh god, Atomic Heart. You have some artwork over here that this is probably in some Capcom building or whatever. You guys can see that there's Rathalos, there's a building in the background, hunting monsters in the real world. There's a dude playing with his phone, I'm assuming somewhere in Tokyo. And here you go. You have the overlay this is going to be familiar to pretty much anyone that that has played Pokemon Go. And as you can see, there's like resources here you're supposed to go and collect, like mining nodes. There's a bunch of monsters all over the place, which I'm assuming you approach the area and you get to fight it. Looks like this person is Hunter rank 7, and they have a Puke sword and shield. Which, by the way, not all weapons are available. I believe it was like a bowgun, longsword, sword and shield, I think greatsword. I think those were the weapons that are available right now. There's potential for them to add more weapons in the future, and you know, all of that usual stuff. But as you can see, it's all about like going around collecting resources, and I'm not sure how it's going to work in terms of you crafting and stuff. I'm assuming that it looks like there's paintballs here. I'm not sure if the monster can run away from you and then you get to chase it somewhere. That would actually make sense, but I don't know. Gaijin said that he read through this thing. Seems like most battles are going to take about 75 seconds or something like that. So about a minute and change for most battles. But, you know, clearly paintball is going to be something that you most likely will have to buy in the shop. I would assume it's going to be the same for items like mega potions and stuff like that. So if you get hit, you're probably going to be taken out of action for the day or something, and they'll want you to slot in some more quarters if you want to keep playing. It said there's an objective here, slay monster with specified AR armor. I don't know. So yeah, so you're even going to have objectives that involve you hunting monsters with certain pieces of armor. Let's take a look at some more of these. As you can see here, this is your character, and you're running around through town, and then there's like a node that you can go and mine. Looks like this little green thing here is going to be your sphere of influence, which I would assume is the point at which you can interact with something. So that thing is right on the edge, so you should be able to mine that node. Let's see what else we have here. Also, as you can see right here, he is mining the node. You have AR integration, which is kind of like the same thing that you would have with Pokemon Go. You could also capture Pokemon in an AR environment. You can see that here you have somebody fighting a Rathalos. This obviously supports multiplayer, because if you were paying attention to the video that we watched, there were like at least 3, maybe even 4 players in a hunt, which would make sense. So those may be considered maybe raids or something. And here you can see that there is, this is the basic Celiana set, right? Speaking of which, I took off the music and I didn't turn it back on. My apologies for that. But yeah, you can see the Rathalos there. You can engage it. People are saying that this is somewhat comparable to Monster Hunter Explorer. I never really played Monster Hunter Explorer, so I don't really know too much about it. As you can see here, there's a Jagras. There's also a Palico with you. Not sure how the Palico works. You have a Baroth Sword and Shield. I'm not sure if you have to hunt the Baroth, considering that you're currently hunting a Jagras. Would he have hunt the Baroth before, and now he's hunting the Jagras? Here you can see what I would assume to be a critical hit from the Sword and Shield on a Rathalos. Same thing, but on a Jagras. Here you have Longsword versus Puke, which I believe in the video they chopped his tail. And here, as you can see, there's 3 players, one with a greatsword, one with a longsword, one with sword and shield, all fighting a Rathalos. Is that a 4th player? Yeah, that looks like a 4th player. Most likely sword and shield. So in here you have all the weapons. I believe these are all the weapons. So sword and shield, greatsword, longsword, and bowgun. And yeah, those are all of the images that we currently have for Monster Now. And after watching after watching the video, after knowing a little bit more, because I discussed this with Gaijin, my reaction is still...
My disappointment is immeasurable. And my day is ruined.
It's just not for me. And it's just something that, like, I question how many people in the Monster Hunter audience are interested in this. But after the podcast goes live today, well, not today, probably go live tomorrow or something, because I still have to edit it and do a bunch of stuff. But after this video goes live today, and after the podcast goes live tomorrow or whatever, I'm going to be interested in seeing the feedback that I see in the comment section, to see how many of you are actually interested in something like this. But for now, that's going to be it. It's just something that is not for me. And yeah, thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.